Right, I know what you're thinking. The Detroit Lions, do they really need a rebuild? But here's two things. One, do you ever see the Lions win the Super Bowl in Sim? No. I mean, it was probably supposed to be a hypothetical, but I'm going to answer it anyways. No. And two, I haven't done an actual Detroit Lions rebuild since August. And it's almost August again. I really don't want to think about that again. I'm getting so old. But of course, the Detroit Lions, a team that didn't really have many needs outside of coverage, outside of cornerback. And well, they double dipped and landed two of the best cornerbacks in the draft. Yay, Detroit. Way to go, Detroit. Of course, adding a brand new guard and Kevin Zeitler, who has seemingly been very good for the last many years. Of course, left guard definitely could use some work, but I mean, how many teams do you even see with a line this good minus the left or right guard? And all they're really missing is a left guard. And they got Mahogany, who obviously there's injury concerns, but there's depth on this line. There's starting talent on this line. It's a top 3 offensive line unit in general. Really, as far as a rebuild sense, money is the problem, and then just guard. You know, if money is not the issue, then it's just the guards. Tight end Laporta was the best tight end last season in the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a top 5 wide receiver as of last year. Running back, this is a good argument because it kind of like sparked a little bit of a debate in that Dolphins rebuild where I said the Dolphins probably have the best running back duo. I would say it's between Miami and Detroit. I would give Miami the slight edge because of A, they don't have as good of an offensive line as Detroit, and B, they were more efficient on the ground game. So I think I gave them the nod for that. As far as going forward, I like Gibbs more than any of the running backs on either team. So maybe I give it to Detroit. Someone said the Falcons. It's a good option too, but I don't even have them in the top 2. You could even argue the top 3. You have, Green Bay with, if A.J. Dillon plays like he used to, and Josh Jacobs, that down year really was just the absolute dumpster fire that was in Vegas. You could argue they're in the top 3 at number 3, but I personally think it's Detroit or Miami number 1. And like I said, I'd probably give it slight edge to Miami, but you can't hate what Detroit had last season in David Montgomery and Gibbs. As far as a Madden rebuild sense, you can't split the carries unless you're actually actively changing the depth chart every single week, which is a pain like they did in real life. So I'm just going to have Gibbs as a starter with Montgomery as the starting power back and, the backup to every position. Jared Goff, obviously a very good quarterback. Jameson Williams, still haven't seen him put it together, but it's still very early in his career. And then, that's the offense. It's a top 5 offense, and there's not really much more to say about it. Defense, they were a top 5 run defense. The biggest issue was, once again, coverage, and they completely reworked that cornerback room. Carlton Davis, kind of underrated. Terrion Arnold, some people had him as the best corner in the class. Ennis Rakestraw, could have been a first-rounder if corners went sooner than they did. They landed themselves a pretty good draft, especially at cornerback. Still could argue that they need an edge rusher. Still could argue that they need off-ball, but no team is going to be fully perfect, even though Detroit has done a very damn good job of getting as close as possible. I'll also say I'm not sure how Marcus Davenport keeps getting paid. I think he's got a $6.5 million contract, up to $10 million, and he's just seemingly always injured. I don't get it. Am I missing something? Obviously very talented when he's healthy, but the problem is that's never, right? Of course, looking at Terrion Arnold, their first-round draft pick, they traded right up in front of Green Bay to get. Would Green Bay have taken him? I don't know. Considering they still had options, I don't know. I really do think Green Bay wanted their versatile offensive lineman like they usually like, and that's the route they went. Of course, Rakestraw, the second-round draft pick, a little bit more raw, if you will, but they're getting some aggressive corners as well. Not just any corners, but some aggressive ones, which that's kind of what the Detroit Lions are all about. Brian Branch obviously was amazing last year, and I mean, teams are that afraid of just having good players. I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, do I really want a slot cornerback? It's like, if they're a good player and you need the player, take the player. Just take the good player. They don't have a problem at safety around here. Aiden Hutchinson, you could argue, should be higher than that. Reeder's obviously a new name on the defensive line, and him and McNeil should make a very good duo. This is definitely a sleeper line, especially if Davenport does stay healthy. Once again, off ball, don't know a whole lot about Campbell. It's early on in his career. anal zone, as I like to call them, always puts it in your anal zone. And then, yeah, I mean, they need some off-ball linebackers, real life and Madden. But this is not a team that has many needs. We'll see what happens in this rebuild. Could it be, as good as the Dolphins? Probably not, because that one went absolutely ham. But I hope, at this point, with a starting roster like this, I hope we at least win a Super Bowl. And of course, let me know in the comment section below which team you'd like to see next. I think the Seahawks would be pretty high on my list, maybe the Saints. But if there's a team that, isn't one of those, let me know. And while you're down there, maybe leave a like. If you enjoy the video, you can come back to it. Maybe subscribe, obviously helps the channel. Leaving a like, commenting, all that good stuff. And let's get into this rebuild. Oh, rebuild, it's a tough one. A lot of moves need to be made. It's not the best season I've ever seen, but considering the team, like I said, I've never really seen the Lions win a Super Bowl in Sim that I can think of. It could be worse. Michael Badgley, I don't know how he's playing that. I guess that's another potential weakness, if you will. 11 for 12. Pretty good, actually, so maybe not. Well, looks like we're going to be changing the scheme pretty early on, as this team, which is, like I said, we made the playoffs, though, at 9-8. Like I said, probably the NFC favorite going into next season to at least make the playoffs, obviously, maybe represent in the Super Bowl, went 9-8. Barely making the playoffs, which is pretty pathetic from EA Sim. Who do they lose to? So the Chiefs, fair enough. The Buccaneers, the Ravens. I mean, I can see it, I guess, in Sim. Chargers, maybe. Saints, maybe. Broncos, hell no. Vikings, probably not. Cowboys, I get it. So, I mean, if it's any consolation, the Lions outperformed what they probably should have in real life, even though they were projected to do well. I mean, nobody was shocked that the Lions were good last year, let's be honest. But Jared Goff, 23 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, that's really bad. Like, these numbers are really bad. Amon-Ra St. Brown was pretty good, but everyone else on offense was terrible. For what should be a top 5 offense, pretty bad stuff, I got to be honest. Davenport, 7 sacks. I don't know what his incentives are, but I would imagine he would have hit them, considering he played 1,000 downs and had 7 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson was pretty good. Terrion Arnold should be a superstar, maybe even an X Factor. Superstar based on Rookie of the Year potential. And then 5 interceptions could get him the dev up, but we'll see. Badgley was pretty good. Jack Fox was pretty good. Yearly awards goes to Mahomes for MVP. Please give us the Rookie of the Year. They don't give it to. He's number 3. But hopefully 5 picks is good enough for a dev up anyways. And yeah, wait, he got best wait, what? Was best DB that week that he won best DB? Best whole DB. Not really. I mean, you got AJ Terrell, Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Johnson, obviously, Tre'Davious White. I mean, you got some pretty good competition there. So the fact that he won best DB but not best rookie is a little surprising. But hey, it's an award win, which should trigger the dev up. And then, like I said, the 5 interceptions could trigger more. Got the Packers coming up, but before we do that, let's take a look at this division rivalry, and the first of many. We're going to say it's a chess match, which is play rec, and then as far as the next one goes, I suppose we just say play it cool. It's just, it's just another playoff game. We're kind of used to it now. Normally, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, we haven't won a playoff game in forever, but that's gone now. Nobody cares anymore. But let's go on against the Packers, who are vastly lower of an overall than us, but it's the playbook game. And is it rainy? It's very rainy yesterday in real life for me, so relax. I don't need any more rain, even though I love the rain and the thunderstorms and whatnot. But man, the thought of my power going out, which with the freaking city taking hours to restore it most of the time, I don't even want to think about it. It's a double-edged sword. Not really. It's, I guess, yin and yang, if you will, because it's no double edge. I love storms. But speaking of storms, the rain is on our parade as of right now, as we are down by 10. And then it looks like the Green Bay Packers are going to win the game. Way to go. 31-14 against a vastly inferior team. 82 overall to our 88. And they win. I mean, realistically, that last touchdown was a consolation prize. It really wasn't even that close by the time the fourth hit the end. And once again, the higher overall running backs It's all that matters. It doesn't really matter about, how good you actually are. It's about your actual overall, which is super fun as always. Looking at the sacks, we didn't really have much pressure, which is pretty stupid, but missed a kick in the field, in the playoffs as well. Good job, Badgley. I'm glad that I paid you a 2-year deal. Pretty disappointing stuff. We'll obviously have to play it by ear and see how, next season starts. I don't want to stick with the Detroit Lions playbook, but at the same time, I want to try it out. I don't want to just go to the OP playbook every time, and it's kind of just like, if we're doing the Chiefs, it's basically a Chiefs rebuild every time because the numbers are just going to carry. Where the Dolphins, we actually did run the Dolphins offense throughout, or no, we didn't. We switched to the Bengals, but still, it wasn't one of the OP ones, I suppose. But let's go to the Super Bowl and see who it is. Definitely not going to be the Packers. I don't care that they smoked up on us. It's not going to happen. Let's just be real. Maybe in real life, but in game, there's not that high of an overall. The Cowboys versus the Ravens. Probably going to be the Cowboys. Starting to get a little annoyed by seeing the same teams. At least the Ravens did win, though. Going into the lineup, no dev-ups on offense that I can remember. I don't believe so. Defense, Arnold. Okay, he did at least go to Superstar. Hutchinson also went to X Factor. And Jack Campbell also went to Superstar. Would have really loved to see a dev up from McNeil, though. That is a guy that no matter how many times I've used him, no matter what scheme, what team I've put him in, he just doesn't dev up. I'm not sure why. I've maybe seen him at Star, but I've never seen him as an X Factor, which, at his age, isn't, crazy to expect. He's not bad by any means, but just never develops. I don't know what to tell you, but at least we got the dev up for Arnold. At least we got the dev up for Jack Campbell. At least we got the dev up for Hutchinson. But yeah, there we go. DB of the year. Gonna go with slot, I suppose, even though I want to go zone to, kind of balance him out. At the same time, yeah, we will actually, because his man coverage already beat slot anyways. This will give him a chance to get to slot. Not bad for a rookie year. But I suppose another good question is, what does the quarterback situation look like? Because we've seen, the lower overall quarterbacks, no matter what the scheme, you do struggle pretty hard. And Jared Goff is not a super high overall, and he's only going to be regressing, as there's no way he can combat the regression of his age with, progression, if you will. Sewell, you know what? He's already such a high overall. There's no way it's any lower than 20 mil anyways per year, and it can't be much higher if he's already almost a 99 overall. I think that actually is going to save us some money, and we don't have to talk about, the contract anytime soon. And then Zeitler, how good actually was he? Because he's not, super regressed. He only gave up 3 sacks. Obviously, it's a different Zeitler now, as he is a bit lower, dropped to 4 overalls. Very good pass blocker, obviously. 11, the money's not great, though. That's the problem. 12 million, I could probably pay 18 million to get a way higher overall. The tag is there, but I'm going to let him go. This could be a risky one, but I'm going to let him go and see if we can do better. Let's see if we actually can do better. David Bakhtiari, that's a decent tackle prospect, and we actually can't do better, unfortunately. So I guess we're going to try to hit that well again and give him a 12.5. That was basically what we're going to be giving him anyways. So if he stays or rejoins at this rate, because technically he's a free agent, I think the value's there. Unfortunately, outside of David Bakhtiari, which we don't really need a tackle, there's not going to be any linemen for us. So, yeah, it's just going to be through the draft. Free agency in general looks very mild. We end up with Kevin Zeitler back on the squad. We have $80 million left. I wish I could get some of the contracts done now, but, that's not going to happen. This team's actually built really well. If those contracts are actually close to real, that's kind of absurd. I imagine that we owe that 3rd round pick, so I'll end up getting our 4th round back for it. And man, this Cardinals team, they have had the 1st overall pick a lot. Rivers, they go with edge first. Edge is probably our number 1 need, so that's probably the route we're going to go as well. The problem is, a lot of the edge rushers are going right now. Brackens was one of them. If another one goes, and there they go, we're going to have to pause this thing and see where we stand. That's our biggest need, is edge by far. So if it comes down to needing a trade-up, I see Baxter and Hackney are still there. We might have to do that. As far as edge, outside linebackers go, there are still 3, Foster, Strong, and Phelps. I think one of them is on the slower side, but they look good anyways. So We're going to keep on going here. Phelps. Still see that they're there, which is good. And there goes Strong. So we're down to just a couple of options now. We got to see if those are the routes we want to go. Ethan Hackney, a finesse. Pretty athletic, of course. Don't know his, actual, what is it called, talent grade for sure. But we know kind of a good idea. Baxter, obviously 6'3", 274, 21 years old. Very athletic for 274. Great power move, A awareness. Block shot's not the best, but great tackle. He would be a great option too. So unless Foster was really special, which he might have been the slow one, he was. Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping Baxter's there at 20, which there's a good chance he will be, 1 or 2. I think I want one of the actual defensive ends that are listed at defensive ends. Please tell me Baxter's there at 20. And, we have one of them, and Adams is a really good choice too. But this is going to be our choice. I thought we were going to have to trade up using that second-round pick, but we do not. It's between Hackney and Baxter. I think Baxter looks like the better player. Hoping for hidden dev, but if he's not, I think we can still work with it. And, yeah, he is normal dev, unfortunately. But, like I said, I think we can work with it. He's going to be a starter right out the gate. He's just going to be a starter. Do we have any other value that we want to, take a look at? 2 to 3, a couple of DTs. That's really just future-proofing. It's really like linebacker, Albert. We don't really have many linebacker options. It's like Seiler, Whitaker, and Albert. I think if Albert's there at 20, I take him. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know if he's going to be there. We also don't have a third-round pick because they actually traded that to the Jets. So, unfortunately, we did have to move that away. Albert is still there. That is one of our biggest needs. But we could use another lineman. I really like Monroe as well. But you know what? I'm going to go with Albert, the linebacker. Lorenzo Albert, 6'3", very athletic. Please be hidden. Thank you. 87 speed, 90 excel, hidden dev, more defense. And I think we're going to move down until... Oh, Lowry was one of my guys. How many linemen do we even have left? We might actually have none. There is one lineman left, Nick Jeffrey. That is a bit of a trade-up, but we'll see what we can do. I don't even know if I really like him that much, but we really need an actual starter over that left guard spot, so I kind of feel like we need to trade up. Do we have extra fourth-round picks? So I know this team also traded the Eagles their pick back. There's no way this goes, but we'll make our attempt, if you will. All right, we have these other players to move up to that third spot. I think that's fine. Pascal, if you look at him as fifth round, the guard as a fifth or a sixth round. It's more of a quantity over quality type thing, but the Patriots have kind of been into that lately, so I'm okay with that decision. And, Nick Jeffrey, even though I really like that running back Green, I think Nick Jeffrey's going to be our guy. And we get hidden. It's worth the trade-up. It was a bit of a steep one, but he was our only lineman. I've seen linemen go as high as 6 when they're 3 to 4, so I wasn't willing to risk it. And I think I'm going to go to the 6th... Never mind! I was about to say I'm going to go to the 6th round, and then the stupid... You guys know if you play the game, how, the inputs are either really delayed or sometimes just don't register, and that was one of them. Oh, God. I was going to go to, the 6th round and see if any of the UDFAs were there, but maybe there was just one there, and we got one with picks 20 in the 7th round, which we did not. A fullback, I guess. Alex Yates. It was a need. It is what it is. He looks like the guy that played the Mummy in The Mummy. Baxter, we had other options, but as far as, who was there without a trade-up, there wasn't many. There was only one other option, and our guy was definitely the better looking of the two. Lorenzo Albert, he's going to be an automatic starter. Really good block shed. Coverage is not the best, but super athletic. Let's take a look at the dev while we're here. Once again, pick 20 without a third-round pick isn't, the most draft picks in the world. Put him at 42, why not? Star dev was hoping for, a pure goon. And then Jeffrey is going to be playing left guard. 6'5", with some weight, and he's kind of low in ratings, but he's kind of balanced in those low ratings, so you don't hate it with, hey, superstar. Okay, we'll take it. It's not the biggest thing in the world, that's what she said, but at the end of the day, it's better than star, obviously. Where was our guy? Pick 20. So who was after? I don't really care about the guys in front, because I was unlikely to trade up. Was it No, it was Hackney. 74 overall to the Bears, division rival. Debatably better, less athletic, but debatably better. Worse block shed. Debatably better because they had, they didn't have to force it. They kind of waited. Holy crap, 84 overall corner to the Chargers, though. Reggie Branch. unbelievable. Not like the tallest guy in the world, but as far as pure ratings go, one of the better generationals I've seen. If he had better jumping, he would definitely be up there in the top 5 generationals at corner at least, but lack of jumping, it does drop him off. I'm not sure why I looked at his dev. We kind of knew what he was. Who is this? The freaking Vikings do not need tight end, but here they are. Vince Tanley, insanely athletic, pulling a Raiders, if you will. See what his dev was. Probably only star. Nope. Looks like we had 2 generationals in this draft. And what was I going to look at again? That might have just been in. I think there was some of the pass rushers, but I mean, like, who was the closest one? Foster? I think he was like super mid, right? 6'3", slow as hell. I was never going to draft him. And the other guys were just too high for me to trade up for. I would have had to trade up all the way to 14 minimum. And it was another normal dev guy. So realistically, I think we did what we could. Pick 20, the best edge rusher available was absolutely the guy that we took. All right, here is the squad for year 2. Definitely need a new right guard, and I'm not sure, who needs to get paid down the line. Usually you do see Decker in free agency, and you do sometimes see Sewell, so obviously got to play it very cautiously with trying to keep some of the biggest names on this team going. But the running backs, as soon as Gibbs gets near 90 or at 90, he should start really cooking up those numbers. Wide receiver, really hoping Jameson Williams has himself a season. Wasn't great last year. And then looking at defense, Anzalone needs a probable replacement, only normal dev, so his ceiling's maybe 83, 84 overall. Left end, hoping Baxter gets a breakout early. McNeil, hoping he gets a breakout at some point. And then DBs, I think we're in a great spot. Changing up the playbooks as we go. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh yeah, I forgot he actually got paid in real life. We need to do the real life contract. Jared Goff needs a contract. We'll see what happened there. How he's playing. Taylor Decker probably gets a contract. McNeil probably gets a contract. Ifeatu probably gets left behind here. But we do have good money. I think we should be able to manage. So after all of our re-signings and the future signings of Aiden Hutchinson and Jameson Williams, we have $27 million, and we didn't even finish the contract with Jared Goff. I offered him a 4-year $168. He's having an okay season, but I also just think, this team has their quarterback. They're not going to move on from Jared Goff unless he just really sucks, which I suppose last season for us wasn't the best, and then this one's good, but it's not, elite. To the playoffs, which we will not be participating in, I will be moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. EA has done me in for the final time. I am moving on. It is time to run the cheese, because it's the only way to play this game. Love it. Without the meta, you get fisted, and I'm not a fan of. Well, I don't know if I'm a fan of it. Maybe that's my new thing. Maybe I'll invite EA over a couple times a week. Maybe that's my new kink. I don't know, but let's take a look at the stats, potential awards. Which Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,900 yards, a little bit more himly, if you will. The Bengals scheme was a little bit better. Gibbs, a little bit better in general. Amon-Ra St. Brown was amazing. Jameson, that's actually pretty good. Donovan Peoples-Jones, not bad. Laporta, not bad, but for real-life concerns, obviously not great. Penei Sewell, probably the highest-rated right tackle in the game at this point. 11 sacks allowed, though. We love that. That's really good. Good work. Keep it up. You guys are killing it. Sacks for the defense. 8 for Aiden, 7 for McNeil, 4.5 for Baxter. What joke is this? Picks, Jack was great. Badgley was pretty damn good at kicking, and Jack Fox was great at punting yet again. Don't really think we would have had many awards. Maybe best wide receiver. Outside of that, I don't see. Oh, yeah, best defensive rookie as well. Best wide receiver is actually number 2. And, of course, no playoffs. The Jags versus the Niners in the Super Bowl. Definitely, at least the Jags. Not the matchup I would have thought of. With the Jaguars winning. Okay, some AFC dominance here. Let's take a look at our dev-ups, if we had any. Offensively, did not expect any. Defensively, maybe Baxter. Baxter goes up to star. Campbell goes up to X Factor. And then Albert goes to superstar, I believe. So some pretty decent dev-ups, I suppose. Once again, the defensive side getting all the love when it comes to those developments. But yeah, Baxter, he had a chance at a breakout earlier in the season. I suppose I highly doubt whatever, unless he had tackles for a loss, I highly doubt he would have been good enough to go to superstar anyways, but you never know, I suppose. And obviously Campbell got those interceptions. dev-upped, I'd imagine. And was it? Yeah, I think it was just because he was normal. If he was star dev, I don't think he would have done enough to get to X Factor, or to Superstar. And speaking of X Factor, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown just got to it. Nice. I didn't actually notice that. I just assumed he already was because he was a very high overall, but not bad at all. Moving on to the re-signings, which I think we took care of. Oh, we didn't take care of Jared Goff, though. Okay, that's definitely a name. That's definitely a name drop. See what kind of contract he wants now. No dev up for him either, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure he was star dev still. But this could be costly. It was a 4-year 168 before he declined that, in fairness. I don't see him. A 3-year 130, which is significantly more, but I guess the years or so. Wait, how much was it? A 130. So it's not too much higher if he actually decides to take the offer instead of declining it. I mean, 132? I would like to play for a new team. Okay, that seems like a fair argument. Aiden Hutchinson gets the 5-year option. Jared Goff. That's a lot of money. I suppose he was already going to ask for around 45 anyways, so 53 mil on a 1-year deal, basically, and then Jameson, obviously, we're not going to give the 5th year option for. Don't even know how Marcus is still here. It's supposed to be a 1-year contract. But, yeah, we can handle it. We're all right. 41 mil as well. Probably not going to spend any of that money in free agency, because I'd prefer to keep the guys we have, let alone gain any new players. But if there's a player we feel is going to push us over the edge, we may as well do it. Greenlaw, maybe he could, but I don't think a linebacker, especially off-ball, is worth it. O-line, sure. These guys... Oh, actually, we do need O-line pretty badly. Do I do the Wyatt Teller? A 2-year deal? I mean, I don't know if we can afford down the line. It's going to cost us a little bit, though, because the Steelers are fighting here with this. I'm willing to throw that offer on, but yeah, we're probably going to have to just draft an offensive lineman. That's usually how these things go. You pay too many linemen, and, you know, all of a sudden you lose your star corner. And there was a chance he could have joined us, but yeah, he did join Pittsburgh on a lesser million per year deal than we offered him. Please, for the love of Jesus, tell me the Steelers at least did something. The Steelers were the 2nd worst team in the league. Sweet. I don't know. So we have 12. Pick 12. The problem is this team doesn't have a lot of needs. You'll be future-proofing maybe cornerback, but even then, Ennis, Rakestraw, quarterback maybe even, Bonds. Ennis, Rakestraw hasn't even gotten to play yet. Bonds does look pretty good. We got a 5th-year option from Goff. He played really well, but he didn't want to resign, so I'm not really sure where you go from there. Offensive line is on the list, but you guys know that we can get, especially since we only need a guard, we can get that, you know, solved later on. Luke Tiller would actually be a decent name, you know, future-proofing the quote-unquote DT spot. He's 273. You can make the argument that he moves up to 285. He's already, you know, kind of big for an edge anyways. Corners on the list. Roth, you know, future-proofing once again, but realistically, I think the move is going to be trading down for Luke. So I'm going to move down to like 20. Hope he's still there and, you know, pick up some extra draft picks along the way. Not my favorite pick, but we're going to trade down to 21, speaking of, to gain a 2nd next year. Think we could have got more, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not really many other offers that were looking great. So quarterback is still there, definitely on the list, but I think we're just going to ride it out with Jared Goff. We're going to try to give him that contract. Luke Tiller. Oh, normal dev. Especially for a guy that's not going to start away. That is unfortunate. Pick 12 in the 2nd round. Who is there? We had some wide receivers there. DT. I might go Lockhart in the 3rd round. So I might actually turn this. Ooh, that corner does look mid, though. I might even turn this into another trade as well. It could also go Woodyard. Need a replacement for Montgomery soon enough, I imagine. And Woodyard does look pretty good, but I can also just go with like a day 3 running back that we see. So I think we have a lot of 3 to 4s. So the smart move here would probably be to move this down again and try to pick up some extra picks to maybe move up and grab some extra players with. I think that's going to be our play. I might even go right back to, was that Miami again? Miami wants the trade up, so I'm going to take them. Moving back to 21, they go Childress. See if we can try to get to the 3rd round. 60. Oh, wow, the Bills are cooking us a trade. So we got screwed over from the Dolphins in the first place, but that Bills trade up was a super over trade, so it kind of makes up for it. And then we lose a little bit going down to the third round, that 7th round pick. I mean, I don't know what's going to add for us, but maybe a kicker. But we're going to start taking some selections. Pick 2 in the third round. I imagine there's somebody good there, which, I mean, linebacker's definitely on the list. Holloway is looking pretty good. Running back Woodyard is still there. How does he compare to Holt? I scouted Holt further because he actually looked really good. Yeah, I mean, I think Holt's just as good, if not better anyways. Offensive line, is it the number 1 need? Linebacker's not even the number 1 need. I'm going to go Lockhart. I know we just got Tiller, but the value for Lockhart, I think, is there. Amir Lockhart, another normal. I know the strength was low, but I was just hoping for hidden. Oh, that kind of sucks. Going to 12, and we probably trade up from there. Pick 12, I think we need to go O-line. If we get another normal, I'm going to be pretty mad. So we're going to take... I genuinely don't... I guess Baz Knight. Baz Knight's going to be the new starting guard. Hidden Dev, thank you. Thank you. And I think we're going to go for a trade up here with the Titans. We have a lot of trade up. We can trade up with the Titans, Jets, and the Vikings, and we'd be fine, I'd say. But definitely going to at least trade up with the Vikings, or the Titans. Actually, I want to keep this 4th round pick if I can. Might just trade like a 5th, and let's do a 3rd and a 4th next. See if that goes. Oh, wow. Okay, so maybe I over-exaggerate a little bit, but if we at least get this trade up, I'll be pretty happy. I think we're going to go with the linebackers. I don't even know if Anzalone's here still, but Anzalone, we could definitely use a youthful linebacker to replace him. Holloway looks pretty good, I think. Could use another lineman, but Harper's there, so we're going to go with Holloway, I think. Devon Holloway, very fast. A zone coverage, B block shed looks great. And he's hidden. All right, I think he's going to be a starter automatically. I think that's how that's going to go. All right, we end up trading a 3rd, a 4th next year, a 6th and a 7th this year, and Dial to the Texans for 2 high 4ths. Don't even really need that other 4th round pick we have at 12, but I just felt like, you know what, might as well if we're going to be trading up next year picks. This pick, I think I really want that running back. I do like the lineman too. Harper looks amazing. What about Bartow? How good is he? Because we could just, move down. Pretty good trucking. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's as good as Holt, but I think Harper is much better than Elias. So, Tom Harper, hidden dev, that's a win. If we can get that running back, that'd be great. Wow, he went very quickly. Literally the pick after to the damn Colts. I don't even know if this other running back, Bartow, is still there. He is. I mean, I guess I'll take him. Josh Bartow, 21 years old. Oh, and he's hidden! Okay, I was kind of down in the dumps a little bit. I was like, I'm not really happy about that result, but no, it worked out. That is A-okay. And then for our final 4th round pick, if that center is there, I'm going to take him. Matthias Elias. That's a pretty cool name. Hidden? Oof. Yeah, I mean, he definitely looked worse, but I didn't really need that corner too badly, so I thought maybe we got really lucky with another lineman. But hey, 2 hidden linemen, a hidden linebacker, a hidden running back, 2 mid DTs. And in the 7th round, we're going to go for the BBC with no throw power. Draft recap, any overalls? 76 for Tiller, so in fairness, he is a good player. The DT, though, not great. Baz Knight, fair. Holloway, fair. Harper, fair enough overalls. Quarterback was terrible. Wide receiver was terrible. But real question is, how good was Bartow compared to Holtz? Obviously, Bartow looks pretty damn good here. Great injury, great stamina. Likely not going to be star, but I have seen some superstars. Could be. Not going to be. Definitely want to see what Holt's like. But number 30, future, David Montgomery replacement, if you will. And then it was the Colts that took Holt. 75 overall, 92 speed. Normal dev, but arguably better than our guy. That is really impressive speed for his size and real strength, really. All right, it's Season 3, the first season of using the Chiefs' offensive scheme. I mean, no matter how good the team is, it just seems like it's all scheme-based. This team should not even be close to missing the playoffs yet. They did. Offensive line, I mean, it's technically worse than it started as, right? Zeitler was a pretty high overall, but Jeffrey's a great left guard, and Baz Knight has a future. I'm not sure what his dev is. Maybe it is even superstar. Maybe Harper is, or neither of them are. I don't know. Tight ends getting higher overall. Gibbs, Jameson, they're all getting higher overall. Goff even's an 84 now. Linebackers in a great spot now. DT, we'll have to keep monitoring the situation. Cornerback, Carlton Davis needs a contract. It could be finally time for Rakestraw to get starting reps as the number 2. And then safety's great. So we'll see what happens with our re-signings. That's the biggest question mark. Oh, and this is not a great time for us. Jared Goff is now a superstar, and we are now about to do contracts. 122 mil. Sewell needs a contract. Jamison needs a contract. Carlton Davis needs a contract. Kirby Joseph needs a contract. Jared Goff. I mean, we're going to start out with Jared Goff because quarterbacks are the most expensive. This is $43 million per. It might get all the way up to 44, maybe even more. I don't understand why it says fair contracts 124. Is it just literally because of the interest outside of that? Oh, we have Reader on there as well. So we're not wrong for trying to future-proof DT, as you can see. But I guess we'll get into some of the other contracts. Sewell, I don't think it's smart to pay linemen, but there's some linemen you have to pay. Sewell is one of them. 6-year, I don't even know how much was that. Was it like $1 billion? Jameson Williams, 6-year, 78. It's a great contract. Hopefully he's having a great year. Maybe get a dev up. Carlton Davis. I don't know the exact numbers for all these players or who's going to be going forward, but this seems like a contract that you have to let go because you're not going to be able to afford it. But at the same time, it's a 1-year deal, and we keep the team intact. I think you try to keep them intact. $26 million. You're losing the DT no matter what because it's going to cost way too much, right? $21 million for Reader, and he's got red interest. That's just not going to happen. David Montgomery, we got the replacement already set. Donovan's a bit of a drop-off, I will admit, but $26 million left. Not losing anyone I can't live without, and we can probably do the Jack Campbell 5th-year option simply because I think he's going to be gone after the season follows because they're going to consider him a edge rusher. But Gibbs you could probably do. So the money's running out, but we're fine for at least one more season. I mean, we just lost 30-3 to the Giants. I really don't know what's going on. I always have that kind of idea. Still doesn't want to join back. I have that idea in the back of my mind that, there's predetermined teams that just lose in Sim because they have it weighted that way in behind the scenes. But I don't know why they would have the Lions losing. This is a team that, like I said, a lot of people expected to have a good year. And he finally accepts a 3-year, 138, leaving us with $24 million. We could even pay Donovan, but I don't think that's smart. I think we're absolutely going to be against it. We're probably going to have to replace linebacker Jack Campbell. We'll be able to afford Gibbs, but then it's going to be more problems with some other name. I really genuinely don't get it. Maybe if we win, we're in the playoffs, but it shouldn't come this close. And we win, but we're not in the playoffs. We're 9-8, like pretty much the entire division, in fairness. How is this team just not making the playoffs every single season? I can't tell you. I really can't. 91 overall is missing the playoffs. Like, how? The Rams at 11-6? The Giants at 9-8. I get it. They won, their division, I'd imagine. That's how they got in there. Maybe it has to be because maybe not because we're only 9-8. It's just like I completely forget we're somehow only a 9-8 team. Like, I'm just like, oh, we're 11-6 and missed the playoffs. But no, we're not 11-6. We're a 91 overall team missing the playoffs, whereas the Ravens have won a Super Bowl and are back in the playoffs. As in 87, was that? Like, we even have the Chiefs beat by 2 overalls. That is never easy to do. Don't want to spoil the results of that Dolphins rebuild. Maybe check it out. But I'm going to spoil them. We won 3 straight Super Bowls. And we couldn't catch up to the Chiefs until, the last season, I think? Even then, they might have been higher than us. But we're higher than the Chiefs in this rebuild. Yet it doesn't matter because we're not making the playoffs. I don't know what to tell you. Touchdowns, 29-7. Yards are amazing, but the touchdowns are just, missing. Montgomery, 16 touchdowns. Gibbs, better yards per carry, but still not a great season. Williams, there you go. Laporta, great stuff. Could go up in dev just because of the yards. If Williams isn't going up in dev, I'd be shocked. The rest were great, though. Offensive line, Sewell had a better year. Taylor Decker wasn't the best. Sacks, Baxter, and Hutchinson were great. DTs were not. I guess McNeil had 20 tackles for loss. Could actually get a dev up from that. I freaking pray. Michael Badgley, probably going to let him go. And then Fox was as good as usual. Yearly awards, MVP, Josh Allen. Aiden Hutchinson, Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year, we're number 2 on defense. Best QB at number 6. Best running back, not on the list. Best wide receiver at 4. Best O-line not on the list. Best D-line at number 1 and 7. Best linebacker nowhere to be found, no DB, and kicker at 7. But more importantly, not 3, but might as well have been 3 straight missed playoff seasons. The other one was a barely sneak in, and we lost anyways. I want to know, if you're watching to this point, I appreciate it. That's, some dedication. But I would imagine some of you guys watch other rebuilders as well. Do they ever struggle like this with teams that just shouldn't struggle, or is it just me? Is it genuinely just me? If you guys do rebuild yourselves, do you ever have struggles like this where it's like you're a 91 overall team and you can't do anything? Jared Goff, we already knew he's a superstar. Laporta doesn't go up in dev from 1,200 yards. Okay, that's great. But Jameson goes up in dev, which was massive because we just paid him a 6-year 60-something, which now turned out to be a steal. Gibbs is a 90-plus overall. Defensively, I don't see a dev up. Oh, McNeil, actually. McNeil goes up in dev, which is clutch because we paid him recently, too. Block shedder, extraordinaire. It's fine. It's fine. Jared Goff, superstar dev, thankfully, from the breakout. Would be lovely to see him go to X Factor. Was probably very close. Get a little more touchdowns, probably would have had it. But move on to the re-signings. I don't think we would have had anyone that was eligible to retire or should have even wanted to retire, but you just never know. It is time to renegotiate. I think it's the 5th-year options, 43 mil. Okay, that's definitely a little more helpful. Jack Campbell, I think he's going to ask for a lot more than that, so we're going to go 5th-year option and probably just have to let him go. And then Gibbs, I think he's going to ask for a lot anyways, so I'm just going to keep pushing these contracts as much as possible. Keep the team as good as possible now. Reader also dropped off in 4 overalls. We have the money right now. I'm going to keep Badgley again because he does well somehow. We have the money to get a new DT right now. It could hurt us in the future for lack of rollover, but hey, if we can get a Super Bowl team or at this rate a playoff team, it's worth it, even if it screws over the final year's team or, the future, which we won't be here for. But that sounded very grim. But yeah, not really looking great in free agency to do so, as there is, unless there's a DT, which it seems like a Reader is the best option, there is not really much to work with. Yeah, it's going to be just draft a DT mode, I think, which you could just move Tiller over, I suppose. Yeah, free agency sucks, which maybe is a blessing in disguise so we don't overspend on players that we just obviously won't be able to afford down the line. But that's free agency. No dice. It is draft time, and the Jets have the first overall pick, and they take a tackle. I don't know if that's going to get you back on track, but maybe they lost their quarterback to injury and need a new lineman. Wink, wink. Quarterbacks, there are some options, and I am thinking about it because Josh Allen's getting older, but I think we have no choice with the season he just had and the fact that he's on the contract for a couple of, more seasons. We can't really go that route. DT, though, that is absolutely a number 1 need for us. There are a couple of options. Harris looks great. Johnson looks great. Whip out your Johnson. It looks great. I don't know if I want to go this high for a DT, though, even though it is our number 1 need. I think it might be worth it. Johnny Johnson, 55% Scott. I wish we had a little bit more than that. A power move, B block shed, A tackle, C for the block shed, I don't know what I was saying, play record, I don't know what it was, but Johnny Johnson, he looks good. But once again, I think we can trade down to like 2021 and hopefully land, him or Harris and get that extra draft pick, which we might need. I think the Giants are giving me a good trade. We get a 3rd next, a 4th the following year, only to move back 6 spots. Maybe Johnny Johnson goes right here. Once again, 1 to 2s I've seen go all the way to like 12 or 13. But if Johnny Johnson is still there at 20, then obviously this is kind of a risk. We do have another guy in the 3 to 4 range, but it looks like Harris is still there. Johnny Johnson go to the Chiefs, which tells me that he's going to be a goon. The Chiefs don't miss. Harris, not as good of a pass rusher, but definitely a better block shedder. That's fine. 41 reps. Yeah, actually, don't mind this. Yeah, hidden dev. I don't mind it at all. We did well. I don't know if Johnny Johnson's a better dev. Definitely going to be a better pass rusher, but that's all right. I can live with it. I can live with that decision. Got that extra 3rd round pick next year in the 4th round as well. Could go QB on a trade up. Linebackers definitely up there, as I think we're going to be losing Jack Campbell no matter how we look at it. Corner wasn't the strongest of corner class. You can have, maybe Anderson because of the zone coverage, but yeah, I think we're just going to move on to 14 and maybe even trade down again or take one of the 2 to 3 linemen for future-proofing needs. but definitely would like to grab a linebacker or two. We have another second-round pick, so yeah, I'm probably going to take somebody here. Is there any like value here? Safety. Who is this? 1 or 2? Akeem Melton. Oh. Do we need safety? Not really, right? But like pure value-wise might be worth it, no? At worst, he's a C man coverage. Could be higher. I'm going to go Akeem Melton. Super fast. Hidden dev. Also would have thought he would have been faster than that, but that's fine. 92 speed for a hidden safety is fine. Future-proofing positions, we didn't even know we needed to. I'm not really expecting to trade this down to get a bunch of picks for later, but our linebacker should still be there pretty late, so it'd be nice to go like early next round. I don't know what we're getting exactly, but a 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever, a bunch of different draft picks. Should be able to land us still a linebacker. Might even be the one that we have as projected 1 to 2. Once again, at this point, it's just future-proofing. It's not even actually going for someone we need just yet. Same with potential offensive linemen as well. I like Jaquez Vick, so I might trade up for Vick here after Harper. 22 years old, a bunch of A's in there. I don't think he's the best, but it says 1 to 2 talent. And he's hidden, okay? I mean, he's definitely on the slower side, but he is hidden dev, and that's what matters. Especially when you're not starting him out the gate. All right, we traded a bunch of stuff. I don't even know how to track what we just traded, but we traded a lot, all right? We traded a lot of quantity for a pick that isn't even what I thought it was. I mean, at least in fairness, I can't trade for the Vikings pick to then trade for the Bears pick in the division. Some things are just a little too crazy. But yeah, I don't know why I thought that was the team, but I suppose that is the value we were getting from it. So if it takes multiple trades to get to where we wanted to go, it is what it is, as long as we end up there, right? 2 7th-round picks to move up like 7 or 8 spots. Whatever happens, happens. As long as we get to the destination, I don't care how long it took to get there. And with this pick, I believe, so I'm going to take one last look at like Bigsby. 5'9", 22. It's very interesting. Bunch of C ratings in there. But I think Jaquez Vick is going to be my guy. Offensive lineman, 6'2", 21 years old, another hit, and we'll take it. I suppose we find a different speedy wide receiver. Not as good, but you never know. Could be hidden. He is hidden. 95 speed, 96 excel. Okay, I mean, he probably will be a lower overall, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll take him. Backup. Maybe he never plays. Maybe he does play. I was just looking for a fast player just because those are usually the ones that are kind of sleeper-esque later on in the draft, and that's exactly what it was in this case. I'm not mad about it. Brooks, 22 years old. He's got an A rating. Why not? Because he sucks. A giraffe recap. Decent overalls. Wide receiver's only a 68 in fairness, but Harris, 74. Safety Melton, 74. Harper, the linebacker, 74. 73 for Vick. I guess I'll take a look at the wide receiver. I'd imagine star dev, but you never know when you're going to find one of those super sleepers. Definitely a fun player to develop, right? Because he actually does need quite a bit of work, but has all the traits, very fast, and he is hidden as a rookie who's 6'1". So definitely getting a lot of value out of him. He's only star dev, but maybe one day he'll be a starter. Harris, no pass rush ability, but 81 block shed, which is very good. We have 2 block shedding DTs now, which... yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe should have went with Johnny Johnson. We got Akeem Melton, though. Very good athletic, hefty, with no block shed for some reason. Safety, who is, of course, hidden development trait. What's the dev here? Probably put backup free safety. Star dev. Maybe not the best use of our draft picks, but I liked him. I felt like he was a good player, and he kind of was. Ben Harper, I think he actually is going to be the future right out. I mean, unless Jack Campbell's somehow affordable, which I just don't think it's going to be the case. We kind of need a new player soon, so getting ready for it. Star dev again, and then the offensive lineman, he's just a backup for now. Definitely want to take a look at Johnny Johnson, without a doubt. 74 overall with hidden dev, as expected. Oof, 82 power move. Okay, I mean, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing so far. Stay star, and I can live with it. Okay, I can live with it. I can definitely live with it. Season 4 team, I mean, I don't know what's going to take to get back to the playoffs. Maybe a better quarterback. At this point, we're locked in. I think it's Jared Goff or nothing. The offensive line looks great. The tight end, the wide receivers look pretty good. Jamison Williams is even getting there. Jameer Gibbs is now a 91 overall. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball. Linebackers are great, but probably will lose Jack Campbell. You have Harper for the future. DTs, you got a better future with Harris long-term. And then cornerbacks, Rakestraw will probably be the number 2 cornerback after this season, or we draft someone new. But this is a 91 overall team without morale boost. This is a playoff team, and if it's not, It's just... It just sucks. So I'm not sure what this money's going to get us because we got a lot of red interest, big names to re-sign. Laporta's just a god. He's just him. Rakestraw, is it already time? I guess so. Damn, there's a lot of names. These are some juicer names. Obviously, I like to re-sign based on what I think is considered irreplaceable players. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, irreplaceable. Without a doubt. 4-year, 142. Thank you. That's basically what these guys are going to be asking for. So what's the historic championships? I mean, you can't really change that. And the rest you can't change. The close to home Michigan. That should literally be all the way to the right, bro. What do you mean? It's like kind of midway green. Close to home. We're the Detroit Lions. Are they going to build a new stadium close right next to his house? I don't understand. How is that not full green bar? What do you mean? I don't even know, dude. I don't know, but we are broke. We are like broke. How are we this broke? I'm so confused because we have 10 mil left. We haven't even paid Aiden Hutchinson or Brian Branch yet, and we're gonna lose Rakestraw, Ragnow, Taylor Decker, and who the other guy? Carlton Davis, and we're this broke. And we are at 4-4 right now. I don't know. I honestly think sometimes you might have to lower the motivations. I have offered him a 4-year deal worth $39 million per. $39 million. And it's not enough. It's not enough. I guess Detroit, Michigan isn't close enough to his hometown of Michigan. This is actually crazy. We've had some pretty bad sims in the past. This is unbelievable. 7-10 with this squad, running the Chiefs offense with the Bills defense. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm really, staring at the letters and the numbers. We're in the right scheme, right? The Kansas City Chiefs West Coast spread. This is what I run when things aren't going well and we should be winning and we haven't even at least won enough games to get to the playoffs, let alone won playoff games. And we are 7-10 as the best team in the league. I'm lost for words. I don't know what else to do. Like, what is this? We go 0-3 in preseason. We lose to the Falcons and the Panthers. We lose to the Vikings and the Jaguars. We lose to the Vikings again. We lose to the Saints. And we lose to the Patriots. The Patriots are like 2-12 or something like that at the time. Or I don't even know what the record was. What did they end up with? Like, what is going on? Where are the Patriots? Where are they? I still don't know where they are. They're 2-15. What are we doing? I'm going to look again. I'm just going to look again. Maybe the numbers are flipped. Maybe we're at 29 overall. Maybe we are at 29 overall. Maybe we're not a 92 overall. It's actually just flipped. Like, I don't know. Also, I thought we were going to have to pay Jack Campbell this season. Am I missing something? I thought he was on a 5th-year option. We paid the 5th-year option. Would that not have been like for this upcoming season that we just played and then we'd have to re-sign him for the next one? Right? I don't even know, but whatever. No matter what's going to happen, I'm just going to do one more season. You know, I guess in like a weird, frustratingly annoying side of it, it's cool that it's not just like a guaranteed win because we're a good team with the Chiefs playbook. I suppose, like, if that, I don't know if that really is something I truly believe, but kind of. But this is what the team looks like. Jared Goff is regressing. Laporta finally gets to superstar. Then we look at the defensive side of the ball. Harris gets the dev up. We didn't even look at awards, did we? We didn't even look at the stats, actually. I don't think we looked at anything because it was just like a shocker. Just went straight into, how did we do so bad when we're the best overall team in the league mode? It's got to be Jared Goff. Based on the, sims I've done, this being the outlier, it's got to be the fact that Jared Goff isn't the highest of overalls. It has to be. Sack totals, Aiden Hutchinson were great. Everyone else was terrible, though. Looking at Badgley, didn't pay him, and I guess for good reason, got blocked twice. Don't know the awards, doesn't really matter. I think Harris probably got Defensive Rookie of the Year. maybe for tackles for a loss or something. But outside of that, I don't think we would have done anything. Very disappointing, though, right? Like, very disappointing that we're not making the playoffs with the highest overall team. And it just makes me wonder, like, what can you actually do? Like, what can you actually do when you're running what is pretty much widely... I guess we'll go with the Cowboys scheme for the final season. Widely regarded as, the most consistently good playbook, I think, in my opinion. We're going to go with the Cowboys next season, and we'll see if that changes anything. So what do we do here? $25 million, fifth-year option for Baxter. I'm not even A, sure I want Baxter. B, sure that I want Baxter. That's all I can really say. Frank Ragnow, $15 million per for a center of his caliber, I think is probably worth it. Especially since we're only playing one more season anyways. Okay, I guess he's going to go 15 mil. Is it going to be less? Yeah, it's about the same, so it doesn't really change too much. I enjoyed playing for you, but yeah, I mean, honestly, if the front office / coaching staff, what I guess it'd be really the coaching staff is this incompetent, I guess I don't really blame him for wanting to leave, right? We have $10 million, unless there's some crazy name I'm just completely forgetting about. This team is about to implode, and they need a brand new quarterback, so... Based on Madden, they're a 3-4 year window team, which is a lot of years. That is a lot of years to be a top 3 roster in the league. But after that in Madden, Jared Goff and company, especially with the contract issues, they definitely kind of dissolve. So there's problems there, but we did have some pretty decent drafts. And we're going to have one final draft, I suppose. I don't know if I want to make like a surefire trade right now and, give ourselves a chance to actually win the Super Bowl or even get to the playoffs at this rate, but we'll see. We'll see. I think we just kind of future-proof. Play the team as how I would if this was a normal situation. I think it sucks because Jared Goff isn't playing badly, but I think that's the reason why we're not winning, games and making the playoffs, and B, I think you do have to future-proof because of the regressions in general. So this would be a draft pick, especially since it's probably going to be on the higher side. Top 12, again, I'd imagine. Top 7. I mean, you seriously look at quarterback, I think, at 7. It's real life. Jared Goff is far from retirement, at that age. But in game, especially with the regressions already hitting, yeah, he's absolutely on his way out. I mean, I don't think you give him another contract if he's already down to an 82. See what the Texans are up to at pick 1 overall. It's going to be Walton. I did actually have him on my list. He had like 2... pass rush abilities. He might have actually been generational, to be fair, but not really my biggest need. Problem is quarterback. There's really not a lot of quarterback talent, so probably not going to go that route either. I could go edge rusher in general just because I don't really like the way that Baxter is developed, and Baxter could easily be traded for a late first-round pick. So I'm thinking, at 7, we're going to evaluate our options, and if there's an edge rusher I like and they're hidden, I'm just going to trade Baxter off. I mean, there's just no point in, investing or continuing to invest in a guy that just isn't putting up numbers. He's just not. So we have 1, 2, 3 edge rushers. 3 edge rusher options. Let's take a look. We have Tyree Brock, who I did not scout further. Ace, finesse, maybe. B, block shed, and just not the most athletic guy, so that's why I didn't want to scout him any further. You only have 3 guys that you can actually focus the scouting on. Then you have a Hardy, who is 21 years old, 6'4", a bit faster, which is why I scouted him further. A awareness, A power move, B block shed, B tackle. Looks pretty good in some of those ratings, but C player act does worry me a little bit. Then you, of course, have Vincent, Emmett Vincent, 6'2", 22, a little bit faster. A power move, A block shed, B awareness, B tackle, A pursuit. Does look the best, but I have personally had more success with the taller edge rushers, so that's probably the route I'll go if I decide to go with edge. And then as far as cornerback, we definitely need one because I worry a little bit about the fact that Rakestraw is 26 already. So I think we're going to go with Hardy. Please be hidden, and if he is, I'm going to trade Baxter. Oh, no. I don't think I'm trading Baxter. This felt like a lot, but we use all of this to trade up 15 or 14 spots with the Bengals to grab what I would assume is going to be our franchise cornerback 2 in, where the hell even is he? Jamie Godwin. Don't know the zone coverage, but I know he's in A man coverage, which tells me he's probably at least a C zone coverage or higher, and that's who we're going to be taking. Wow. Okay. I mean, you can't win them all. You definitely can't. But normal dev, I mean, I still expect him to be a very high overall, but just not lucky on the devs for either guy. And now here we are in the third round, and unless we want to go with more O-line that we aren't going to be able to start, do I grab another linebacker in Mr. McGraw, Jimmy McGraw? It's another guy I'm not going to be able to start either, though, to be fair. Whatever, sure, Jimmy McGraw. Another normal. Wow, considering we had the 7th overall pick, that is, ironically enough, the worst draft I have ever had. By far. And I get it, the overalls probably will be decent, but I don't care. I don't really care what the overalls are going to be. That is hands down the worst draft I've ever had. Simply put. Just because of where we were. And I'm going to trade up with the Texans and grab a DT, I think. Considering where we were, for us to land nothing but hiddens is quite actually insane. How bad can we be? Of course, it's all RNG at the end of the day, but still, I'm taking it rather toughly. I'm just going to be honest. Vic was actually a superstar. That's pretty cool. We need a new left tackle. I don't know who's going to move over there, but we got names. We can't really afford... I mean, we probably can't even afford Jeffrey, but it's our final season, so there's no point in not. That should be good enough, right, Elias and all these guys? Why not? Move it on. See if we can land ourselves at least one hidden. Maybe with his defensive tackle. He has an A finesse, I believe it was. Tevin Wheatley with a B block shot. He actually looks pretty home run. And he's normal dev as well. Wow. That's actually unbelievably bad. Like, that's really bad. That is unfortunate. I mean, I don't know what to say. Our salary cap, our available cap anyways, is really bad. I imagine that's going to change. It does say 14 mil. And honestly, the overalls aren't even that great. 73 overall for Hardy. Yeah, I mean, unless the Cowboys scheme completely saves us, this is a much worse roster than it was last year. We lost our franchise tackle. We lost our cornerback too. And yeah, Godwin's all right, but yeah, I mean, this was not a good draft, and it's just, it didn't really help us any. McGraw will go to middle linebacker, but we had a lot of options at pick 7, like a lot of them. So let's see who we messed up by not taking. Also, Walton wasn't, I don't think, a generational. He was 77 overall. I definitely would have taken him if he was there, but he wasn't. I was hoping he would have gotten like 2 or 3, and then I would have maybe made a trade up, but unfortunately he didn't. Oh, maybe he is a generational. I don't know. He's an X factor. And he's a lot better than our guy. That's all I can guarantee. Where's the other guys? So Vincent was my other direct option. Of course, the one time I choose the player that isn't the better key ratings, he's the hidden. And he's just significantly better. And he's a superstar. Nice. That's fun. All right, that is fun. I don't even know if I had Collier on my list. Brock, normal dev, kind of expected it. Faster than I thought, though. I can't believe we took that guy in number 7. Not the worst bust I've ever seen in my life, but one of the worst I've drafted. Definitely one of the worst I've drafted, all the way at 7. 73 overall, you know, it kind of blends in with some of the overalls, but dev-wise, not really. Potentially the last season, I mean, you can't all be winners. Stafford's back, but they can't all be winners. But this one is just one of those, like, how is it so badly coded type losing situations? This team should have made the playoffs almost every single season, if not every single season, and they should have won some games. Maybe we have a Cinderella story here. We win the Super Bowl final season. I'm not sure, but this is pathetic. Like, obviously, we've taken a little bit of a hit because our money is a massive problem. Aiden Hutchinson making $40 million per year over 4 years is crazy, but the team is as intact as physically possible. The only thing we could have done differently was get rid of Ragnow, which obviously would have left us with a pretty bad center. So at the end of the day, I think we have managed this about as physically well as possible, really. But yeah, we're going to be losing even more names. And normally I would, if it's a close call, we win, let's say we win a playoff game or two, maybe I'll do another season. But honestly, with Jared Goff in the situation he's in, and we're going to have to start over with a brand new quarterback, unless we have the first pick overall, like a top 5 pick to grab a franchise quarterback, we're basically resetting anyways, and we have to find a brand new franchise quarterback. So I don't even know if it's a point in doing it. I mean, we're so broke, we don't even have a 53-man roster. That is how broke we are. Like, sure, in real life, I could find a way, maybe restructure some players, but in Madden, it doesn't really actually matter. So if you want to cry that it's not realistic, I mean, get over it. Like, really, grabbing 560 overall backups isn't going to do anything. It sure hasn't so far. We've had some really good depth teams that are better overall than this and didn't even come close to the playoffs half the time. I don't even know if I want to see these re-signings. $28 million. Oh my God. I have never had a more broke team than this. Where is the money? Is it really just Aiden Hutchinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown making that much money? So Jeffrey's gone. Campbell's obviously gone. Arnold you keep. Albert you actually probably could keep. And then Gibbs, maybe you find a way. But yeah, this team is done for after this season. This is the window. This is literally the window, and that is it. 15 mil left. Jahmyr Gibbs you actually prioritize over the linebacker because running back is really hard to get into the 90s. Oh, my Lord. You have to pay more than that. Wow, we are broke. And Jared Goff seemingly has another season on his contract. So I guess maybe once the season's over, Jared Goff's penalty might be way lower than his salary. So you might actually be able to, sneak off Albert as well. But no matter how you look at this roster, this is easily the best it's going to be for the next several seasons. There is no point in doing a season 6. If we make the playoffs, we win some games, we win the Super Bowl, that's amazing. But as of right now, we are absolutely staring down the barrel of an L rebuild. This game is genuinely so ass. It is so ass. This game is so ass. It is actually insane how bad this game is. Who are you kidding? We're losing to the Raiders and the Rams, man. What are we doing? We should be winning like this as if we had this roster, but as the Broncos, we should be doing better than 7-10. But we're in the NFC North going 7-10. What is this? Genuinely. This is so pathetic. Oh, you just built a really good team, but sucks to be you. Can't make the playoffs. Forget about the playoffs. Forget it. I don't know. I'm just going to see who wins the Super Bowl and just take a look at the team. L rebuild. Failed rebuild. And I don't know how, because this is based on how this started, based on how good the team was and the fact that we weren't actually in that big of a hole financially. This is maybe the best starting roster you can get outside of a team that has one of the top 5 franchise quarterbacks. Obviously, Jared Goff going lower in overall, I'd imagine affected us. I might even, real quick, just do a sim after this. And because I didn't save on this. So if I back out of this, reforce to quit the game, it'll bring me back to season 4, I think. And I'm just going to boost Jared Goff to a 90 overall and see if that would have changed anything. Obviously, I don't really care who wins the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This fails to rebuild no matter how you look at it. But if I can go back and just up Jared Goff and see if that was the difference, I'd be curious at least to see, if that was. Ravens win the Super Bowl by 6. But yeah, like I said, in a way, it is interesting that, we didn't just guarantee ourselves success because, we had a good playbook and we had a good team. Sometimes it takes a little more than that to actually, push yourself over the hump for the Super Bowl win. Not making the playoffs is a different story, If you're a top 3 team, technically the number 1 team in the league, you're going to make the playoffs, barring injuries, which obviously isn't realistic here, doesn't have any relevance. But you're going to make the playoffs. Well, how far will you go? That's completely irrelevant, right? Like we've seen with the Eagles last season. But, wow, okay, Jameson Williams sucks. How is his catching so bad? 83 catching with 91 medium, 89 short? Okay. I suppose, I guess. Let's take a look at Sam Laporta, 94. I mean, how is this team missing the playoffs? And, it makes me feel bad because it's you guys watch this long video of us sucking, and it just feels like a waste of time for everyone, but I don't know, maybe found a way to enjoy my complaining, which I know nobody does. Everyone gets even more mad at me for complaining about something that is just complete bullcrap. It's just what am I supposed to put on, the fake YouTube thing? Haha, that's fun. 5 seasons of nothing, even though you're the best team. Shucks, we'll get them again next time, boys. Don't you worry. Jack Campbell, 92 overall. Coverage isn't great, but block shed's insane. But obviously, he'll be gone. A 6-year, 160, I think he wanted. We are missing, a good 100 mil. to re-sign this team. I don't know where that money went. I guess it is just the big names on this team, like Jared Goff and Sewell and Amon-Ra and Aiden Hutchinson specifically. But yeah, we became broke, like really broke. No real coverage. Great block shed for a lot of our linebackers, but the coverage is definitely lacking a little bit. Brian Branch never got higher than a star. Dev, 94 zone. I went with the Cowboys scheme this season, and then I went with the Jets defense, so we'll see. I didn't actually... No, we actually did have some pretty decent numbers on defense, right? But yeah, that's what I ran with, and I mean, that didn't work either. So I ran the Bengals, the Packers, the Falcons, the Chiefs, and the Cowboys, and none of them were good enough. None of them. I even went back to Detroit for a little bit, because I think that might have even been the only team that, only playbook that actually got us to the playoffs, but even that wasn't enough. So I don't know how this happened, but we're going to do one sim if I can go back in time. I think if I don't save this and I force quit, it should bring us back. Might be able to just load, but I think that's just the safest way to do it, quickest way to. But it should bring us back to when Season 4 was beginning pretty much. So yeah, we'll see if boosting Jared Goff to a 90+ overall is the difference, which if it is, that's just stupid. Like, do they not realize Peyton Manning Broncos edition exists? Like, do they forget about that? How he legitimately got carried to... I would say that it was probably the biggest carry you'll see in the 21st century. Like, I genuinely think so. Like, he was awful, and he got carried. So, I mean, I don't know. And Jared Goff in these sims wasn't bad by any means. It's just, we sucked. Like here's the numbers. His passer rating outside of the very first season was over 100 in each of the seasons. So it wasn't like it was his fault, but I do wonder if it was the overall's fault, which is what we're going to test after I see, where we would be as a team. I am curious to see what kind of money we have. We can release Jared Goff to re-sign some of the players we're about to lose. You'd need a new quarterback, so that's definitely fun to do. But I don't know if that's possible. So we legitimately are just straight up broke. Is there anyone you can get rid of, though? Jared Goff saves you a little bit of money, but realistically, you're not saving much with many players. Also, Frank Ragnar's contract I thought was a 1-year deal, no? I don't even know. But Jared Goff, it was a franchise tag, wasn't it? Jared Goff, I think you have to let him go just based on the fact that we're so broke. How does that save us, though? That's what I want to know. Can you restructure? So we would go straight crazy because we're about to lose so much talent. So you would just go as crazy as possible. You would restructure every player that's on a long-term contract anyways, just so you can free up money for right now. It would make you really vulnerable in like a few seasons' time, but that's what you need to do if you're trying to keep that window open as long as possible, obviously. I'll do all the restructures, and I'll see how much money we have left to re-sign players. It would obviously, once again, completely screw us down the line, but we'll see. So after all those restructurings, we now have $43 million, which would allow you to re-sign Albert. I think the value's there, especially since you're losing Campbell. You don't want to lose all your linebackers. You keep him, $28 million, and then you would offer a bit more for Gibbs. He wants a 3-year, how much? 3-year 37. We could probably do that. Let's see. Let's do a 3-year 39. That's 13 mil per. 16 mil left. You'd lose Baxter. I think, especially the way he's playing, you're kind of just all right with it. Tiller never became anything for us, but he's on a 5th year, so he's still fine for now. I don't know if any other players are down the line, so maybe you're not that screwed, but you are losing a lot of starters, which in the end, that's all that matters. You couldn't make the playoffs with this God squad. How in the world would you make it after losing the God squad? Like, what overall is this team dropping to, especially without their quarterback? 88 overall? I don't even know if I believe that's true. I'm going to just quickly... Didn't I just... Oh, I never released Goff. We probably did actually have a little bit more money we could have made. Okay, maybe that's actually good, though. Maybe you'd want to keep Goff just to give yourself a chance right now, especially if you don't land a quarterback. And if you don't need him because you get a quarterback in the draft, you can still just release him anyways. So you'd have 24 mil to maybe get your left guard back, perhaps. But even then, I don't know if that's wise. So 88 overall, post really roster apocalypse. But let's back out and see if it was Jared Goff's low overall that caused it. This is kind of like a weird rebuild, obviously, but what do we take? A pick? So it's pick... Oh, we had a chance at Johnny Johnson in this one. So you redo the pick, and I guess you take Johnny Johnson? I mean, Willis ended up really good, so I don't think you hate that pick at all. I don't think that's where we went wrong. The draft after might not have been that great, but I'm not even sure why I'm in this draft at this point. Who else was there? It is kind of fun. So Melton we obviously ended up going with. Harris was pretty good too, even though he was he normal dev? No, he was hidden, and it was just our guy was not as good of a hidden technically for pass rush. So I think you would redo that pick of Melton because I think his value was there. And then I'd probably end up simming the rest of the picks. There was no real blatant one, that edge rusher we just took or missed on. That would be the draft I would want to redo, if any. And, we actually do have our favorites on here, so I could draft someone else. So Harper was normal dev, right? So you wouldn't want to go with him again. Jones, we know, was hidden. Vic was superstar, right? So you would just maybe make this... It's like a redraft type video, but that's fine. You kind of redo that draft portion. You move on to the 5th round, grab that wide receiver, and then... You basically have the same type of team for the most part, and you just boost Jared Goff to see if it was him. Was it him? I don't know. We're about to find out. All right, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to be running the Chiefs offense with probably the Bills defense, because it's a pretty common one for me. And we put Jared Goff as a 90. I didn't do anything too crazy. Just basically made him a 90 across the board, added that little bit of throw power, and then that 95 short, since couldn't, kind of what he started with. And we're going to see if that was the difference. It could just be coincidence, but if this team ends up being 15-2 or something, then it kind of tells me, okay, maybe less coincidence and more, well, EA has their ways of doing things. But I honestly don't think that's going to be the case. And maybe it is in this sim, but, seeing the Steelers and Justin Fields cook up, a lot of different times in sim so far tells me, I don't know. I just think we got unlucky. And it might have been. You could say, oh, well, obviously it's a quarterback. It's the most important position. But 6 overall is the difference between us completely and utterly failing to make the playoffs and going 13-4 and winning the division and the whole NFC. That's what we're saying? Is that what we're actually saying out here? Because that seems a little crazy to me. 6 overalls when you have literally a playoff, not even playoff, but all-time level good team. 6 overalls at quarterback matters that much. I don't think that's how it should be weighted at all. Because if that's the case, then all of these rebuilds where we have a lower overall quarterback, we might as well just scrap it. If it's just a quarterback-only driven league, which I get in, right? Looking at the numbers, it does tell you that, most teams that win Super Bowls do have a pretty good quarterback, but Stafford was never, maybe close to a 90, but he wasn't a 90 overall plus. And we have the freaking Cowboys. You guys didn't get to see much playoff football, and this is technically completely meaningless, but let's just see it. Let's just watch the sim. Why not? Gotta imagine it's been a pretty short video so far anyways, in terms of 5-year rebuilds. 7-14, 14-14. Keeping it close, at least. They had a kick blocked, which is great for us. 21-all, 4th quarter. They're in a good position. We get a touchdown, up by 7. Stop is there, and we are going to move on to the division, or no, not even the divisional, the championship round. Forgot we had a bye week. The Jared Goff 90 overall led Lions, of course, the Cowboys, with their quote-unquote worst running back situation in, almost a decade at this point, probably. Since what, them losing DeMarco Murray, maybe? Here we go, the championship round. If it's not the Cowboys and we're the Lions... Okay, the Packers. I thought maybe it would have been the Niners or something, but we haven't beat by 4 overalls. Not that overalls really proved anything in this rebuild. Here we go. The Packers lead by 3. We get nothing on the drive. They get another 3. They drive down, get nothing. A lot of nothing so far. Green Bay's defense completely locking us down in the first half. It is now 19-0. Don't mind us. One of the greatest offenses ever assembled. Okay, I guess we lose. I guess we weren't destined to win it all anyways. With 19 seconds left, it's down to an onside kick, which they failed to get. Wow, okay, yeah, sure. Green Bay's defense can shut out the Detroit Lions for 3 quarters. I'm sure of it. I'm a Packers fan in real life, but I am also with all of my chromosomes. They all are intact. And I have no penny more, no penny less. But I can tell you this much. Green Bay is not shutting down the Detroit Lions, even if Jared Goff was injured, through 3 quarters. They're not getting shut out for 3 quarters. It's just not happening. More BS sim, but I suppose sort of proved that a 90-plus overall Jared... I mean, especially since this is 90 overall Jared Goff. This is like a ceiling we couldn't even reach, and this is like how bad he played in a way. This tells you that we were basically doomed from the get-go, right? Like, we just never had a chance, which is painful, but at least, in this little realm of if Jared Goff got to an overall that he probably should have been able to, would we have won, some playoff games? Yeah, we seen it right there, but unfortunately, quarterback is the most important position, and the game wants you to be a 90-plus overall quarterback-having team, and we just weren't because we started with a quarterback that can't get to that overall no matter how hard you try, even on 300% XP sliders. But regardless, that is going to be how the cookie crumbles. Failed rebuild, simply put. Built a pretty good roster, did not have success in the postseason, and that obviously constitutes an L. Regardless, though, if you found any sort of enjoyment in the video, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I do appreciate your support on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Place for non-Madden content, and let me know what team you'd like to see next. Maybe Sunday would be some sort of specialty challenge rebuild. I've seen a couple of different things suggest in there, so could be a fun time to do something like that. Maybe another fantasy draft type challenge rebuild. I'm not sure. But once again, let me know what team you'd like to see next in the comment section below. Ultimately, a lot of the frustrations are kind of like jokes, but it is pretty frustrating when these teams like these just suck, and there's nothing you can do about it. You run, quote-unquote, the meta playbooks on both sides, and it just doesn't lead to anything. Got to the championship in this realm, but once again, couldn't get Jared Goff to the 90-plus on our own no matter what we did, so it was kind of irrelevant. But at least there was some playoff wins, I guess. Regardless, once again, this is not some sort of like planned video because, I'm a Packers fan, I want them to suck. I think we did pretty well with the Bears rebuild, didn't we? I can't remember, but we definitely did with the Vikings, right? I don't know. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, as much as like it's a bit of rivalry in real life, whatever, but as it comes to these videos, if the Lions win 5 straight Super Bowls, sweet, fantastic. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. So it's not planned at all. It's just a terrible game. Regardless, though, thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, which should be some on Saturday. I don't know what day I'm saying here. See ya.